In here you lose track of time. Hours melt into days. Days turn into years. 30 years in my case. After so much time in solitary, I should have been getting better. But in my heart, I always knew there was no cure for what happened to me. But I kept on hoping. I knew if I waited long enough, I would get revenge on the man who destroyed my mind. But I could only wait so long. Every day the visions got worse. Soon I wouldn't be able to tell reality from my nightmares. But then my life changed. He called himself Calypso. They said he ran a contest, winner take all. In my case, first prize meant getting revenge on the man who took my sanity. How could I refuse? I agreed to play. I hadn't thought about the war in years. All the drugs and therapy in the world could never get me to talk about what I went through. But when I passed out behind the wheel, I couldn't escape it. My past came rushing back. It was 1971 again, and I was back in Nam. Ben had gone down. It was just me all alone trying to revive him. I was shouting to Benny, trying to see if he was okay. But before I knew it, the enemy was on me. They put us into some stinking hole 25 feet below the ground. Benny was in bad shape. I didn't know how long he was gonna hold out. Seems like forever I was screaming for somebody to come and help him. Then one day we had a visitor. The guy was an advisor to the Vietnamese, and he had his own unique idea of torture. Starvation. Benny was on his last legs, and I wasn't far behind. 5 days without any food would bring any man to the edge. And the advisor said the only way I was going to survive was to eat. He gave me a knife and started laughing. He said if I wanted food, I'd have to make do with whatever I could find in the hole. I tried to block out what was happening. I knew what he wanted me to do, but there was no way I was going to give him the satisfaction. Benny died 2 days later. I couldn't look at him. I didn't even want to think about it. It's amazing the things you'll do to survive. I think Benny would have understood. So I began to eat. I had crafted a helmet out of Benny's head after I'd gotten my fill. They say the mind bends and twists in order to deal with the horrors of life. I think my mind bent so much it snapped in two. When a platoon of GIs freed me 2 weeks later, they tried to take my skull helmet off. I killed 4 of them before they took me down. After that, they shipped me back to the States and put me in the asylum. But now I have a chance to get even with the man who pushed me over the edge and let Benny die. The contest was over, and I had won. So I went to see Calypso. Turns out he's a man of his word. He said it was time for a reunion. After all these years, the advisor looked the exact same. He didn't know who I was, but I recognized him. I'd been seeing his face in my nightmares for 30 years. Calypso had one more special prize for me. Dinner for one. 30 years is a long time to be locked away. You kind of get tired of asylum food. But after all this time, something new was on the menu. As much as I hate to admit it, over the years I developed a special craving for human flesh.